Hi guys, let's finish our book. Chapter 22. So, said Cornelius for about the fifth time, so this is your tent. Kept staring at it, his chin in his hand, nodding his head as he took in all the details. Of course, Pete and I had already told him about our good old Hansel and Gretel gingerbread house tent, but some things have to be seen to be believed. What's that on the roof? He asked. Is that frosting? I said. Oh. There was silence. You say the girls actually have a picture of you in this tent? He asked. I nodded. Yeah, we were stuck in the window around on the other side. But don't worry, we're going to get that picture back and destroy it. Or die, said Pete. The storm was approaching. The sky had darkened and the wind was picking up. It began to sprinkle as Cornelius, Pete, and I ducked inside the tent. Using sleeping bags and jackets to lean up against, we made ourselves comfortable on the floor and broke out some granola bars and oranges. I noticed Cornelius peeking at the Wicked Witch, but of course he was too polite to mention it. Nice and roomy in here, he said. We began to discuss Catherine and the girls. We all agreed we needed a plan, and Pete said he had one. He said we should attack at midnight. He said we should creep up on the treehouse, throw a rope over one of the limbs, tie a slip knot in the rope, climb up, and sneak the flag into the living room, and then wake everyone up, yelling and cheering. I pointed out that we didn't have a rope, and Pete looked stumped. So did Cornelius. He agreed that not having a rope was going to make things tricky. He said, however, that we weren't licked yet. And by the way, could we remember the exact words Catherine had used when she complimented him on his book? I said yes. I thought I could remember her exact words. She said, oh, by the way, Cornelius, this book of yours is really quite exciting. I'm very impressed. You certainly are a man of many surprises. Pete said, how about if we tied a whole bunch of shirts and jackets and sleeping bags and stuff together to make a rope? I said we might be able to do that, but I still didn't think the plan was going to work. I said I couldn't believe that Jill and Sunny and Catherine wouldn't have someone on watch all night long. I said we'd learned the hard way that they weren't easy to fool. They were smart and tough, and we had to give them credit for that. Cornelius said he agreed and that they were very smart, all right. And by the way, was I sure that Catherine had said that he was a man of many surprises? Could she have said he wanted to know if he was a man of many wonderful surprises? No, I said. I think she just said a man of... Suddenly, out of the corner of my eye, I saw the tent flap move. An instant later, an arm shot through the door, snatched up the flag, which was leaning against the wall, and yanked it outside. The flag! I yelled. I leaped to my feet and dived out of the tent. Through the rain, I could see Jill, Sunny, and Catherine all wearing rain jackets, heading for the big rock on the run. Jill had the flag. It flapped in the wind as she ran. I took off after them with Cornelius and Pete right behind me. Squeezing around the rock slowed Catherine and the girls down, but of course it slowed us down too. By the time we got around the other side, they had a good solid lead. They were crashing through the underbrush 20 yards ahead, paralleling the shoreline. Cornelius grabbed my shoulder. This way, he said, turning inland. It's shorter. Pete and I followed after him. It was raining harder now, and already my hair was plastered down across my forehead. I had to keep brushing it out of my eyes as we ran, scrambling and slipping over rocks and fallen trees. When we reached the main trail leading from Mount Mysterious to the treehouse, the going got easier, even though now the storm really let loose. What a downpour. Cornelius was right in front of me, but the rain was so heavy I could hardly see him. I was soaking wet, but I didn't care. I knew we were making good time. Our feet made splat, splat, splat sounds as we raced through the mud. Suddenly, we burst out at the inlet, running so fast we almost went tumbling into the water. We looked over through the driving rain. There was a treehouse, and hanging down from the middle tree was a rope ladder. We went for it. I got there first and scrambled up the ladder, slipping once and scrambling on, clambering up the platform. Cornelius was right behind me, climbing fast. I helped him up. Then Pete. He was halfway up when I saw Sunny. She broke through the bushes over behind the first tree and sprinted toward the ladder. Wow, could she run? Cornelius and I reached down, grabbed Pete's arms, and practically jerked him up on the platform. Sunny was closing in. As fast as I could, I began pulling the ladder up, hand over hand. Sunny leaped. She missed the ladder by inches. Nice try, said Pete with real nice try, said Pete with real admiration. In his voice, and no wonder. She jumped like a professional basketball player. And now, here came Catherine and Jill charging out of the forest. Jill still carrying the flag. Seconds later, they arrived under our platform, huffing and puffing. All three of them scowled up at us under their rain hoods. We smiled and waved. Hi there, said Cornelius with lots of charm. So nice to see you again. Lower that ladder this instant, demanded Catherine. Cornelius whispered in my ear, and I ran up to the breakfast balcony and returned with the basket and rope. We would be happy to lower the ladder, said Cornelius as he peered over the edge of the platform, just as soon as you give us the flag and deliver it to the finish line. Making us the all-time champions, of course, Pete pointed out. I started lowering the basket. Just put the flag in here, I said helpfully. Catherine swept the hood back off her head. Over my dead body, she burst out. No way, said Jill. Not in a million years, said Sonny. They glared at us in silence. It was a standoff, just like before, only this time they had the flag and we had the treehouse. Catherine turned to Jill and Sonny to say something, but suddenly she stopped and sort of stared at them. A change came over her face. It softened, and there was a little twitch around the corner of her mouth. I almost thought she was going to break out into a grin or something, and I could understand why she might. Jill and Sonny looked pretty funny, standing there in mud practically up to their ankles, looking so serious with their hoods of their rain jackets tied snugly under their chins so that only the little round circles of their faces were showing. Jill was definitely holding up the stick with a wet, limp Snowball and Poopsie flag on it. Catherine let out a chuckle. She tried to stifle it, but it was a chuckle all right. Jill and Sonny heard it. What's so funny? Jill demanded. She waved the flag around, and it went flapping into Sonny's face, making a wet slapping sound. That did it. Catherine cracked up. If you two could see yourselves, she managed to say, giggling. Jill and Sonny looked at each other in astonishment. I thought they were going to get mad or something, but a few seconds later, they started giggling too. Jill looked up at us. And look at them! She whooped and pointed. Catherine and Sonny and Jill broke into gales of laughter. I couldn't help laughing myself. I guess we did look pretty goofy standing up there, trying to look like the all-time champions, dripping wet with our blue jeans all splattered with mud and our hair plastered down flat on our heads. Before I knew it, Pete and Cornelius joined in too. In fact, they laughed so hard they had to sit down to keep from falling off the platform. Then Jill held out the flag so we could all see it. Look, she sort of gasped in between giggles. I guess the marker pens Pete used when he made the flag weren't waterproof because the rain had sure taken its toll. Snowball and Poopsie had become one big runny turtle-like blob. That sent us all off again. And as we were laughing, I found myself thinking about Jill and Sonny and Catherine, and I found myself really liking them, all of them. One thing was for sure, they really knew how to have fun, and they were good sports too. Now Catherine was goofing off. Hopefully my phone doesn't die. Doing a little dance in the mud. Boy, did she look funny, tap dancing in her hiking boots. Pete fell over backward on the platform, hiccuping. All of a sudden, an idea came to me. I leaned over and whispered to Cornelius. At first, he looked surprised, but then he nodded. A fine idea, he said. He turned and whispered it to Pete, and I saw Pete nodded in agreement, still hiccuping. Cornelius stood up. Ladies, he said dramatically, I have a proposal to make. Catherine stopped dancing. The three of them looked up at him. Actually, Cornelius went on, it's Scott's proposal, but Pete and I have given it our full approval. The three of us, the Turtle Island Trailblazers, as we like to call ourselves, suggest that we declare this race a tie. No winners, no losers, no hard feelings. What do you say? There was a short pause. And no tricks? Asked Jill. No tricks, said Cornelius. Catherine and the girls put their heads together and talked it over. Finally, they looked back up at us. You got a deal, said Jill. Why not, said Sonny. Sounds good to me, said Catherine. I'd do anything for a cup of hot chocolate right about now. We grinned, and Pete and I began lowering the rope ladder. The great Turtle Island flag race was over.